It's Tuesday, the 5th of January 2016. I'm Nita Newman, and today I'm interviewing Mr. Gerry Lane, who worked in the chemistry laboratory on the Chance Brothers site from 1956 to 1989. Hi Gerry.
Morning.
Where do you come from originally?
Originally I come from Smethwick. I was born and bred in Smethwick.
Okay. When were you born?
Do I have to answer that? 1939.
Okay. So from a young lad and your aspirations, how come you ended up working at Chance's? What was your journey?
Well, basically, because I went to James Watt Technical School in Smethwick, and I sort of took an interest in chemistry at the time, and people said I was fairly good at it. So by the time we finished when we were 16 to leave into the old GCE and so on, I thought it might be an interesting career to go into chemistry, and somebody also advised me it may be a good idea. So that's what I decided to do. And we would look for a job, as a chemist or as a trainee chemist at that time, and saw an advertisement in I think it was the Smethwick Telephone at the time, and they wanted chemists, trainee chemists at Chance's. Myself and my friend went for an interview. Well, we applied, and we got an interview. We both went for the interview on the same day, and we were offered the job.
How did that feel?
Oh, it was rather, it's strange in a way. Left school going straight to the job. You didn't know quite what to expect, but no, it was interesting.
Okay, so your first day was a very memorable day. Could you tell me about it?
Well, we were issued. We had to provide our own lab coats. So at that time. And we had brand new sparkling white lab coats. And we were sent out into the factory down by the Rod Plate. I think we had to go and have a look at some visco coolers. And we were walking down towards the area of the Rod Plate, and at the back they used to bring the barges in with coal slack on. And then a grabber come down, pick the slack up, take it round on a gantry, and dump it and put it for sampling for the producer gases, the producer gas plant. And because it was wet, the slack was wet, and the grabber picked up the slack, and it was coming round, and it dropped, and there was water dripping from the pinchers, and it sort of poured all over my head. So my brand new white lab coat was slightly black, and my hair, for want of a better expression, I was, slightly drenched. And that was a very memorable day, because you didn't know. It caused a bit of a riot in the lab when I got back. Let's put it like that.
Did it fill your pockets with slack?
It was all over me, basically.
So what did you do? You're covered in slack. So what?
No, it was water, and it was more like,
yeah.
It wasn't pieces of slack. It was just mud and dirt and stuff like that. I just got back, took it. So they provided me with an old lab coat, took the other one off, and when I got home, I had it washed and so on. But no, that was quite funny. That was. Never happened me to. I gather it had never happened before. Anyway, but there you go.
Was there any other pranks played on you as a youngster, or your friend?
There used to be a gentleman who used to work in the lab, and he was known as a practical joker. And this didn't happen to me personally, but what we used to do with the girls particularly when you used to go out onto the furnace on the Leah, it was very warm, and in the winter you get all the Bob Howlers, and they used to congregate. They used to sleep around the back of the Leah.
And what were the Bob Howlers?
Howler, moths, big moths, huge moths. And so what we used to do was take a beaker down and collect one of these moths, or a couple of these moths in a beaker, and then we used to get a little bit of diethyl ether that just open the top of a diethyl bottle and let the vapour go into the beaker. Of course, it would make the moths fall asleep. So we used to collect these in a beaker, and we'd take them up to the lab, and the girls would be sort of in the lab sitting or whatever. And when these bubbos started to arouse from their sleep, we shut them up and just, morning girls, boom, and just drop the moth on the, on the legs, or on the lap. that caused a bit of a riot. That was one of the things.